What is up, everybody? Hello and thank you for tuning in, and I am going to stir the pot and cause a controversy today in what I'm about to say. I'm seeing all takes from all different directions in the community on this whole Bethesda purchase situation and how can it possibly be exclusive, and to put it in perspective, Microsoft doesn't need PlayStation. And I'm not trying to mean that in a negative, I mean competition is good in this market. But I see all these people making outrageous claims that there is no way that Microsoft can make money or even exist by keeping these games locked down to the Microsoft ecosystem. Or as Phil Spencer likes to say, on platforms where Game Pass exists. Now, there are those in the community that are referring to Phil Spencer as a snake oil salesman and that he basically lied. And this is all because of an offhand remark about how he said exclusives hurt the industry and that he does not like doing them. There has been constant debate and speculation on exactly what Phil Spencer meant on saying this, but if you ask me, in my opinion, I think Phil Spencer has maybe had a little bit of a change of mindset and not a change of heart. Based on the data that I was able to find, Microsoft Xbox had a paltry 40 million active users back in 2016. By April 2020, Microsoft's active user base had more than doubled at 90 million at the very beginning of the pandemic. Now, obviously, this is console and PC combined, and in my opinion, the network is just as big as PlayStation's because PlayStation doesn't really push anything on PC. 100 million consoles sitting on entertainment centers gathering dust is just the same as 100 million people playing actively on a network. And yes, I know that logic is flawed, but I would rather be the owner of a business that had 100 million active users than the owner of a business with people potentially turning a console on. I've always had my issue with PlayStation coming out saying 100 million sold because that does not guarantee anything. That doesn't guarantee the size of your network, how much money you're making, anything. It just means 100 million people bought your box and are staring at it at home. By saying you have 90 million active users, you're able to show just how active your community really is. Aside from knowing that you're going to be able to fill a multiplayer lobby with 90 million active users, you also know that these consumers are going to be seeing the advertisements you put on the screen, making purchases, and multiple other things to bring you revenue. This is where I believe Phil Spencer had a little bit of change of mind. Developers used to chase that almighty 100 million sold, going after those potential customers. Now they're shifting their focus to a different direction. They're starting to chase the 90 million active users, the people that are actively in an ecosystem that are wanting to constantly consume entertainment and software at a very fast rate. So fast that Microsoft has now made the Xbox network more available than ever. With the rollout of xCloud, Microsoft hopes to take that active user number to a new height. So seeing, in my opinion, that the Xbox ecosystem is exactly on par with the PlayStation ecosystem at this time and is getting ready to surpass it, Phil Spencer is starting to realize that exclusives doesn't exactly matter because Nintendo and PlayStation have always been doing their own thing, and it's time for him to do the same with Xbox. And he has also done an amazing job in trying to put his product in everybody's hands, creating those platforms where Game Pass exists. Phil Spencer has made it very apparent that he would like to put Game Pass on everything, and it is not his fault that Jim Ryan or PlayStation don't want it there. In the next coming years, I can see multiple device manufacturers all clamoring to get the Game Pass app on their device. Meanwhile, Jim Ryan and PlayStation will be off yonder holding that hill of "we don't want it over here." At this point, I feel like I can feel you rolling your eyes and sighing every time you hear me say Game Pass. I probably already come off as a lunatic, but now I'm here to show how Game Pass actually makes money in my opinion, and that it is actually going to be a good way forward for Microsoft. Now, there is plenty of folks out there that are part of the gaming industry, air quotation marks, that say that Game Pass makes no profit for Microsoft and that it is a total wash. Generally, the people that make these claims are either using outdated ways of making money that no longer apply because the internet was invented, or they're just just wanting to blow smoke and yell for clout. And this is seriously a thing. In my industry, I'm in my mid-30s, and I'm actually kinda ahead with the times. But there's people over me that are in charge of certain departments and organizations that seem to pretend that companies like Amazon don't exist. This brings me to the point of these guys preaching this concept that Game Pass has no way of working because of the old way of put it in a box and sell it at Walmart. Then Microsoft started pushing digital content and digital purchases, totally evolving the gaming industry overnight, and now the next evolution is at our doorstep. And this is where the short-minded dinosaurs can't see the extinction level event that could consume them if they don't evolve. For example, we're going to take Spider-Man on the PS4, one of the most successful games launched during the PS4 Xbox One generation. 20 million copies of Spider-Man have been sold as of November 2020. And if we pretend that the most impossible thing ever happened and every person bought this game for $59.99, Spider-Man has made Sony $1.2 billion at $600 million a year since its release. And just to point out, it's looking like God of War is also going to surpass that 20 million mark as well. Now, if we look at Microsoft's strategy / next evolution and what they're trying to do with Game Pass, right now it is completely probable to say there's around 10 million Game Pass subscribers. It's also probable to say that due to the value you get, you can say that anybody would pay $14.99 for the service. So we're just going to go on that concept and say that everybody's paying $14.99 for Game Pass Ultimate. After all, in the end, it is Microsoft's main goal to get everybody on Game Pass Ultimate. Now, if all 10 million subscribers are paying their $14.99, that's $1.5 million a month, and it equals out to $1.8 billion a year. So when you compare Spider-Man's paltry $600 million a year to Game Pass's potential $1.8 billion, you'd almost be a fool to not see the money-making potential that Game Pass has. By that kind of money, the Bethesda deal at $7.5 billion could be paid off in little under 4.5 years. And now with the addition of Bethesda ZeniMax and all the titles that come with them, Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate are looking mighty enticing to the entire gaming consumer base. This is only going to add to Xbox's active users, Game Pass subscriptions, and revenue. So sorry to point out the cold hard truth, but it appears that the Microsoft Xbox ecosystem is already surpassing the PlayStation ecosystem, and Game Pass is only going to push that further. Microsoft, Phil Spencer, and other executives all know that their product is pretty readily available to anybody who wants to use it, and it's becoming more available every single day. If they're operating under the perceived notion that the Xbox ecosystem is in fact bigger than PlayStation's, then they themselves feel like they are not holding PlayStation back from anything exclusive. It's actually PlayStation that are excluding themselves from Game Pass and everything that they have to offer. Well, all my friends and fam, this is the end, and I thank you for tuning in. I am Centurion1307. If you've enjoyed your stay today, please be sure to click the subscribe button down below if you haven't already. Till we meet again, my friends, on these crazy gamer streets, please remember to stay positive out there and stay safe. Thanks for watching.